So today is Saint Mary Magdalene. And if you're in Rome, you'll see there's a church there that has her foot. Just her foot, okay? It's the bones inside that they have, the relics of Saint Mary Magdalene's foot. And it's all encased in the shape of a silver foot. And this whole church is built around this foot. It's amazing, eh? It's the first foot that touched foot in the tomb, you know? The first foot that was in the presence of the resurrection Lord. I think Jesus went and saw Mary first, but that's what the church teaches, okay? So there is a tie between Mary Magdalene and the relics of St. Anne. And I'll go through this, and I think you'll enjoy it. Some of you have heard it before, but it's like a Christmas story. You can tell it over and over again, right? Okay. So, tradition, and we have a relic, a true relic of St. Anne right there in the reliquary. This is where the Immaculate Conception took place, where Mary was conceived in the womb of St. Anne. That's the Immaculate Conception. The Immaculate Misconception is that, Mary had Jesus in her. That's not it. This is the Immaculate Conception in the womb of St. Anne. So tradition, hold on to that word. It's not dogma, okay? Tradition tells us that her relics were discovered in France, in the town of Apt, where Christians had preserved them during the times of persecution. From there, devotion to St. Anne spread throughout the world. And you'll notice all these French colonies, they came from France, and then you got St. Anne de Beaupré. Everything's named after St. Anne by all the French people, all the way down to here, to this church, right? So we venerate her relics today, and we're not worshiping an object, we're honoring the grandmother of Jesus and asking her to pray for our families. 14 years after our Lord's death, Mary Magdalene, Martha, and Lazarus, and a few others were piled into a boat without sails or oars and pushed out to the sea to perish during the persecution of the Christians by the Jews in Jerusalem. Now on the boat were the remains of St. Anne, for they feared they would be profaned in the destruction which Jesus had foretold was to come to Jerusalem. They were very careful to bring them the tenderly beloved body of Our Lady's mother. Miraculously, the boat survived and drifted to the shores of France. And this is where the group of saints buried St. Anne's body in a cave in a place called Apt, which is south of France. The church, which was later built over that spot, fell into decay. And because of the wars and religious persecutions, it just became completely destroyed. And as centuries passed, this place of St. Anne's tomb was forgotten. But with the long years of peace that King Charlemagne enabled, the people could now rebuild a magnificent church on the site of the chapel of Apt. Painstaking labor went into the building of the new church. You'll see a picture of the church there that I have on the bulletin board. And when the day of its consecration arrived, he consecrated church, which was on Easter Sunday, 782, Charlemagne the king had no idea what was in store for him. At the most solemn part of the ceremony, a boy of 14, blind, deaf, and dumb from birth, to the amazement of those who knew him, completely distracted the attention of the entire congregation and becoming suddenly tremendously excited. He rose from his seat, walked up the aisle to the altar steps, and to the surprise of the whole church, struck his stick again and again upon the single step. And you'll see that step in the church. The church is all built around these steps. His embarrassed family tried to lead him out, but he would not move. He continued to frantically pound the step, trying to relay a message. All the people looked to the emperor, and he, apparently inspired by God, took the matter into his own hands. He called the workmen to remove the steps, and a subterranean passage was revealed directly below the spot which the boy's stick had indicated. You'll see that in the picture too. You'll see the church with this with this entranceway. The king, the priest, and the boy went down into it. They made their way in the dim light of candles, and then they came upon a wall that blocked further advance. The boy signed that this also should be removed. And when the wall fell, there was brought to view still another long corridor, which you can see also in the pictures. And at the end of this, they found a crypt. And to their amazement, 2 vigil lights were burning. 2 vigil lights were burning underneath all that. That's another miracle. And as they stood before the vigil lights, suddenly the lights went out, and the deaf, dumb, and blind, sounds like that song. The deaf, dumb, and blind boy was healed, and he immediately began to cry out, "It is she, it is she." The crypt at last was opened, and a casket was found within it. In the casket, you'll see that casket there, the stone thing, was a winding sheet, and in that were the relics, and upon the relics was an inscription that read, "Here lies the body of Saint Anne, the mother of the glorious Virgin Mary." You can see that carved into the stone there. The winding sheet was worked on, and it was to be of Eastern design and texture. It wasn't even from that area. Now, King Charlemagne and all those that remained there a long time in prayer. The emperor had an exact and detailed account of the miraculous finding drawn up in a notary and sent it to Pope Adrian with an accompanying letter from himself. And you'll see that on the bottom there, the actual copy of the letter. These documents and the Pope's reply are preserved to this day. It's called a papal bull, if you've ever heard of that. Papal bull is used for canonization, solemn declarations, dogmatic teachings, and major church decisions. Countless cures, one last thing about it. Countless cures and conversions had taken place at the shrine where the greater part of the relics still repose. St. Anne was privileged to be the mother of God and the instrument of the Immaculate Conception. The Vatican said that July 26th is the World Day for Grandparents and Elderly. So God bless all grandparents and elderly. It's an important job. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Take your time if you want to look at it. It'll be up for the rest of the week. I'll be here for the next 2 weeks. Try the veal. No, just kidding. Okay. God bless you.